On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we've got a cool one on the hook for you guys. That's right, we have the trailer hooked up and the car is already on the trailer as well. We just finished loading it up 2 seconds ago and we're about to pull out and head over to the shop where we can unload this car and show you guys what it is. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and like I said, we've got the trailer loaded up with a car that in 2004, this is the definition of 04 rich, completely loaded, $80,000, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Leave a comment below right now on what you guys think it is. I'll give you a hint. There's a cat in the logo. And we are back at the shop, and if you guessed a Jaguar XJ8 Vanden Plas, you would be correct. We already found the original invoice in the glove box of this thing for $74,000. And there's no tax on there yet. So they paid, you know, almost 10% in sales tax. So 80 grand in 2004 for this V8 rear wheel drive Jag with all of the options. So I'm very excited about this. You guys know I've owned a lot of Jags over the years. My first good one was an XJ6 Vanden Plas. That's one I grew up with in 1992. And even back then, that thing was quick and we were out street racing with 4th gen Camaros, having a blast. But after that, I had an S-Type R, and then I had an F-Type S, and then I had an S-Type with a manual, the last one we had. And of course, now we're back with an XJ8 Vanden Plas. And my first one, it had the options, and the options back then were like an Alpine radio. This one, the options are like Alpine factory DVD with screens in the headrest. This is epic. It's like having a Rolls Royce, and I'm in love with it. Let's go check it out. So we've got the beautiful front grille of the XJ8 right here. It really looks stately. You've got the leaper up on the hood. What could look better than that? And the headlights were updated to look the same, but be HIDs. Those are the running lights, these are the HIDs, fog lights down here, and of course ultrasonic parking sensors in the front and rear of the XJ8 because they were not messing around when they built this car. Usually we'd walk around the whole car first, but let's open the hood and talk about the 4.2 liter V8 first. You guys know this is a perfect car for me because when I let go of the hood, it's got bad hood struts. Under the hood, like I said, is that 4.2 liter V8 engine that makes 300. It's a little less horsepower, a little bit more torque, but basically 300s across the board. So it makes good power that kind of motivates this car. It's not fast, but it motivates it. That's the best way to put the Jag or Rolls Royce, these cars that run very smoothly and are supposed to just accelerate gracefully without jolting you around or anything like that. They just do a good job of what they do, which is smoothly propelling you around town. So they didn't draw a bunch of attention to this thing. It's not supercharged like the S-Type R or anything like that. It does have electronic suspension, which is cool, that's for sure. I keep thinking the hood's gonna slam on my head. It is. I thought it was moving. We've got an authorized modification under the hood, a J004. I don't know what that is, but there must have been a recall or some kind of emissions change where the dealership had to sticker this thing. So not much to talk about, not a lot of crazy technology or anything like that. It's just a solid, smooth running V8. Behind that V8 is the ZF6HP26 6-speed transmission, and of course it's the reason I bought this car. I've got another one. So shout out to me for owning the salvage yard here. We've got spare Jag engines, spare Jag transmissions, just tons of this stuff laying around, and I was gonna sell a lot of it as cores, but now we're gonna put it in this car, which should fix its problem. The main problem this car has is gearbox fault. The engine runs super smooth, but it does not want to move, even though it does technically run and drive. It did drive off the trailer, it drove on the trailer. It's definitely broken. It doesn't want to move at all. You have to almost floor it and then it does a burnout after it finally picks up some fluid and takes off. One cool thing the 04 Rich Jag does have is headlight sprayers. This one is missing, unfortunately. The last owner said he hit a pole in a parking lot and smoked the front bumper. So it could use a front bumper, that's for sure. I don't have a spare one of those, but I bet we can find this bumper pretty cheap. Coming around to the passenger side of the car, we have 18-inch wheels, and these are actually wrapped in Michelins. One of the previous owners really took excellent care of this car. There's a bunch of service records in the glove box. You can tell that they always drove it. It was probably an older person, drove it, took care of it, and had it serviced whenever it needed anything. It's got power folding mirrors, as it should, and they work perfectly. It's got a completely automatic sunroof that works perfectly. All the windows are auto down, and I think they're also supposed to be auto up, but they haven't been relearned since the battery was changed or something like that. So none of them are doing auto up at the moment. It definitely has auto up though. Coming around to the back of the XJ8, we have more really cool stuff. If you know the Jag line, you know that this is like a classic taillight that they used for years and years and years. This design never really changed, but in this one, they're LED, so they're not gonna burn out on you. They're way better, instant on, all the good stuff you'd expect from LEDs. They look great. I am in love with that. Go Jag. We've got dual exhaust, ultrasonic parking sensors in the rear. Of course, hit the catch button in the middle of the trunk to open the trunk up, and you have this gigantic trunk. Look at that. You want to talk about golf clubs, you could probably put 4 full sets in there, so everyone in your party could go golfing with you. You would have, you'd be the king of the golf course if you pulled up in this. Lighted, emergency release. One of the handles is clearly missing right there to pull down. It does have a full-size spare, if I remember right. It's been used, but check it out. Spare, jack, brand new battery, can't beat that. And then the real sauce in a car like this is right here. This is what I live for. Check it out, guys. A stack of optical drives. This is like having the greatest computers in the world in 04. We have an Alpine single DVD, also video CD and CD player, and it indicates what it's playing. In it, we have Avatar. The owner said he'd leave that for us. We've got Dolby Digital, compact disc digital audio. That is one amazing player right there. A DVD ROM for the Jag navigation system that is actually loaded up and working. And of course, a 6-disc changer in here too. I think it's empty. Is this an Alpine? It sure seems like an Alpine. Doesn't that look like an Alpine design to you guys? Jag and Alpine loved to work together. They pretty much did that on every car. So that's the trunk. How great is that? The cars that have stacks of optical drives just make me endlessly happy. I know now everybody wants their own drive so they can play different discs in every headrest or something like that. A lot of cars do offer that where the screen tilts back and you can drop the DVDs into the headrest. But this one, nah, everybody shares one source. Before we head up to the front, I gotta take you guys into the back of this thing because the back is the place to be. This would be an amazing car to be driven in. You don't want to drive this. Closing this door back here, listen to the difference. It's pouring outside. Door open, door closed. Ah, so much sound deadening. It feels quality in here. So we've got the screen on the back of the headrest, a few controls there for like brightness, contrast, stuff like that. Cabin lights up here in the handles. The handles are leather. How nice is that? We have our own climate control back here, so we can open and close the vents. We can control the temperature on each side. So 4 zones of climate control in 2004. Is this a Maybach, guys? I am loving this. I don't know where this came from. It looks like the side of one of the seats, and it looks like it's not broken, so it should go back. It's probably that one. Over here, we have heated seat controls and 12-volt accessory plugs for each of the rear seat occupants who are just living in absolute style. There are privacy screens all the way around, as you'd expect. So we've got, it's hard to pull them up because the little tabs have snapped, brittle old plastic, but check that out. There's one, and this one is in great shape. If I can use it, that is. There we go. Full privacy screens over here. There's an electric privacy screen in the back. It's broken though. They always are broken for some reason. So we'll put all those up and I'll show you guys the piece de resistance here in the rear seat. First, these seats are super comfortable. I feel great sitting here. It's just a big cushy leather seat that's got a great headrest. I'm sitting in the perfect position. And then we open up the center console and we've got 2 cup holders and room for a phone. But that's not the cool part. The cool part is when we open the front of this console and look at all the buttons. The more buttons, the better. These were the days of insane car technology like this, where you had a button for everything there was. So you can control the driver's side screen, the passenger side screen, individual volume controls if they're on headphone. And check this out, if I flip open this door, look at all those auxiliary inputs. Each person could have their own PS2, N64, whatever it is. Everybody could be in the back gaming on their own screen. Honestly, I think I might go grab a couple consoles, hook them up, and we'll have a LAN in the back of this thing. How great would that be? So, everybody has their own audio and video controls. You can play a DVD and also listen to the radio at the same time in different seats if you wanted to. You can pick the video selection, you can pick the audio selection, you can change through all of the sources in the car. You can just keep hitting the button and use this thing like a fancy matrix switcher, which is amazing. It's like having Crestron, like the highest in-house in your back seat. We've got Avatar right there on both headrests, but one person, say the driver's side wanted to watch a DVD, but the passenger side wanted to watch something else. You hit left, and then you could change to an aux input, or I think there's actually a, yeah, check it out. There's a TV tuner in here as well. I don't think it works though. I think the TV tuner is unfortunately dead. It does make sense that it's dead. This was built before the digital TV transition. So for the most part, none of those tuners work anyway without special adapters that receive the digital signal and downgrade it to an old school analog RF signal. So you can change the TV channel back here. You've got phone inputs. You have these which mute the audio so you can talk. I was thinking there might be an intercom to the front, but it doesn't have a partition, so it's not like you really need an intercom. And that's basically a complete walkthrough of the control center back here. It's got arrow keys to navigate DVD, enter, and also a full suite of buttons so you can type in stations and things like that. And if you hit the power button, let's see, it should shut my monitor off. So there you go, that is the rear seat entertainment in the XJ8 Vanden Plas with all the options. And then if you don't want the armrest, you can get rid of that too and just have a little bit of extra arm room. One more cool thing about the Alpine audio system, that should be the subwoofer right there in the center. I haven't played any good music through this yet. It's only got the radio and CDs, but I do think it probably pounds. We're not gonna quit on the audio system yet. First, we've got the navigation right there. Of course, it's got all the standard radio stuff you would expect. And then we'll load up the perfect CD for this car. It has another CD player in the dash. I don't want to let you guys forget that. I like how the CD has to like touch the shift knob to go in, and then you can switch to the CD changer or the rear audio sources as well. So let's see. This is one very, very, very old touchscreen, but it still works great, and I also want to show you guys just how fast it is. Watch. DSP, instantaneous. Turn on shuffle, instantaneous. All of the buttons work just the way you'd expect. Phone not fitted, unfortunately. It's the one option this thing seems to be missing here, and maybe those were for cooled seats, but I don't think so. These are actually the heated seat lights. So it may not be missing a single thing other than the phone. We've got the climate control right here, which does pop into the screen if I remember. Yep, it sure does. You can turn dual on and off, auto fan, fan mute. Check that out. You need to take a phone call, you can, it should make the fan run more softly. Oh, it does, it does. Okay, so let's turn the climate back off. That is super nice. 4 zones, again, remember, how sweet is that? There's the audio, we've got CD, CD changer, AM, FM, and of course all the sources from the rear, whatever you need. Navigation. Navigation is snappy on this thing, and you can turn the voice off with a one click. Just the way I like it. For 2004, this is absolutely excellent. And it works, I think this is faster than all the others I've owned. I've owned quite a few of these cars with this system in it, and they were not this snappy and responsive. So huge shout out to Jag for nailing it in this car. Okay, time to move on from the infotainment. It's very good in this car. We've got the heated seats, valet mode, hazards, lock and unlock for the doors, which apparently doesn't want to work today. Passenger heated seat over there, a Jag clock backlit in green. It looks great. Wonderful burl wood on the dash, the passenger airbag light under the wood, as Jag always does. Super nice. I think this is electronic. It is. That's electronic in 2004. So there's a bunch of receipts in there from service that they had done to this car. They really did take care of it. We have the U shifter, which I honestly don't love it, but you get used to it when you've driven enough of these. It does work. Sport mode, traction off, electronic parking brake. Usually broken on these things, but it seems to be working perfectly on this example. We've got a Gentex auto dimming rear view mirror, the same one everyone on the planet uses. Ooh, turn it back to auto. That needs to be on. Of course, up here, interior lights, turn on all of them, turn on the reading lamps, home link, 3 home link buttons, sunroof, it works perfectly in full auto. While that's opening, here's our sunglasses holder. I'm sure the tilt works everything you'd expect. And you guys know it's risky to open a sunroof on a used car, but this thing seems to be working wonderfully. Let's see. Does it tilt? Ah, there it goes. Okay, parking sensor cancel, and that's the rear sunscreen. As you'd expect, something had to be broken, right? All right, we're done with that, but it's pretty funny. Lighted sun visors, you wouldn't expect anything less from a nice car like this in 2004. And then the rest of the driver's compartment here, we've got wonderful analog gauges. They're classy, they work great. Coolant temp, fuel gauge, speedometer, and a tach, and a nice little LCD that shows you a bunch of stuff about this, mostly that it has a gearbox fault. Show me that it has a gearbox fault, we should get a light any second now. Apparently today it's just gonna tell us that it has 101,000 miles on the clock. There are no issues, just a check engine light. Let's try, let's put it in gear. It won't even creep forward. Oh, there, it finally moved. I just noticed this has a heated windshield, guys. I don't know if you can see it, but it has the heater lines in it. That is super cool. So this thing is just hard loaded. Power tilt telescope wheel. That is awesome. I don't think it has auto wipe. It does have auto wipers. Look at that. It's got auto wipers. Shout out to the XJ8. Auto headlights, of course. I don't think it has auto high beams at least. And a nice set of steering wheel controls there. Volume, track is hiding behind the volume right there. There's our speech controls. Cruise control over there on the other side. Imperial and metric units, we can switch between those on the dash. Front fog lights, rear fog lights, a dash illumination, trip, reset the trips, and gas and trunk buttons right there. Honorable mention to it having a smoker's package still with ashtrays in every door. You can see them over there, and all the passenger doors, and there's another set of cup holders right there. Power folding mirrors. And I also just turned the option back on the screen, so when we lock it, they should auto fold. Auto up, down, all the way around. And of course, 3 memories on the door. Check out the Alpine logo on the system right there. So that's it. That is my new, let's lock it. Come on. Fold the mirrors up. Apparently it doesn't want to do what it said on the screen. But still cool that it even has an option to power fold the mirrors when you walk away. We paid, you guys ready for this? $1,100 for this thing. Yes, I know it needs a transmission, but I still think that's a smoking deal for what will be an absolutely insane car after I put the old transmission from my S-Type R in this thing. And then we'll service that transmission, and I think it's gonna be completely ready to go. I think we'll have it fixed. I'm really worried about the mirrors not folding. Unlock, lock, fold the mirrors. It's not gonna happen today. Anyway, I hope you guys are excited about this project. This is gonna be a lot of fun to go drive around and play video games, old school video games in the back of this thing. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop, WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you wanna do, and I will talk to you next time. Our plan for today was to clean this whole shop, have all of this stuff cleaned and in that car and throw that car away. And instead we just bought another car.
I called in sick.
Yeah, Eric called in sick. It's the perfect example of avoid your problems. We should make a new avoid your problems shirt that just says buy another car.
I tried to buy one this morning.
That one fell through.
Never answered. And it would have been a good car. Not as cool as this though.
This is wild.
It was just a Denali.
Denali.
And then you hit me up and was like,
we're buying this.
we're buying a car.
And then I told you I bought that other car.
Yeah, and then another car.
You guys gotta wait 3 weeks for that one. It's insane. Straight out of Midnight Club.